Chapter -20, More of the Underground Waterfall Cave by Frank. It's the best, said Ben. I nodded and then asked Blizzard, what else do we see on the first day? Not much, he replied, at least not today. There's a meeting on later and we don't want to miss it. Normally students aren't invited, but after what happened to all of you this year, the Marescimar Council has decided you should attend. What's it about? I asked. You'll hear tonight, said Blizzard. It's not safe to speak about council business outside the protection of Marescimar. Ben frowned. Sounds bad? Not really, said Blizzard, but stay close to me today. I really do want you to attend the meeting. Sky looked worried. Why do we have to stay close? She asked. Is it dangerous here? Fun gave Sky a hug. Strange things can happen in the time game, he said. I was once lost in here for 2 weeks. That's ages, said Sky. Were you frightened? No, said Fun, holding his head high. But we were all very worried, said Goad. I knew you were safe, said Orpheus. You were just lost in time for a little bit. For 2 whole weeks, said Goad. It was unfortunate, said Blizzard. He missed Christmas, said Goliv. That's terrible, said Sky. And his birthday, which is the day after Christmas, said Goad. But we did hold another Christmas feast for him, said Orpheus, and 3 extra birthdays. Fun laughed. It was the best, he said, smiling. Goad looked a bit cross. But we were searching for you, he said. Even on Christmas Day, added Goliv. Orpheus and Blizzard nodded. All of us, said Blizzard, and Magal. And me, said EJ, even though I was responsible for the Christmas feast for everyone at the Time Garden. Fun smiled. Thank you, he said. I heard you helped. I always would, said EJ. I delegated the feast to Micro Jones, a distant cousin on my mother's side. Was it a good feast? Asked Ben. It was adequate, said EJ with a strange look. In EJ speak, adequate means dismal, whispered Blizzard. Ben nodded. Oh dear, he said quietly. So, said Blizzard, we don't want anyone to be led astray by time today. Sky shivered. So it really could happen, she asked. It's possible, said Blizzard, but we have safeguards. Good, said Sky with a big sigh. Come on, said Orpheus. Let's look at the royal tunnels, and then it's back to Marescimar. Chapter -19.91, The First Royal Tunnel, by Frank. Once our urge to laugh had eased, we followed Blizzard and Orpheus out of the cave. As we walked through the spray of one of the waterfalls, we held our arms out to feel the soft mist, and finally we found ourselves inside a large tunnel. It reminded me of an underground train station beneath a big city. The tunnel's walls were tiled with ornate mosaics made from little squares of colour. The result was murals of incredible landscapes, including mountains, massive trees, fields of sunflowers, villages full of people and houses, and a sprawling metropolis with skyscrapers and a launching pad for intergalactic rockets. After that, there were meters and meters of outer space with planets and comets and the most wonderful stars. None of us spoke. We were in awe of the handiwork in that tunnel. Finally, Blizzard asked, Good? Minnow raised her eyebrows and nodded her head. With a huge smile, she said, It's incredible. But wait, said Solo. There's more, added Escher. As he spoke, the whole tunnel filled with a low-level cloud. It looked like steam coming up from the ground, and in no time the river of cloud had reached our knees. Noesis, said Blizzard, brought here by the shipload. Who brings it? Asked Sky. Blizzard grinned. Angels and time pirates, including the infamous Captain Stella Walker. While Blizzard was talking, the Noesis started to swirl around, and as it did, the mosaic tiles on the tunnel wall started to shift. It was like watching the pixels on a computer screen move all over the place. What's going on? I asked. The time game is welcoming you, said Orpheus. This is how it tries to shake hands, said Blizzard. Pleased to meet you, I said, smiling at the tunnel's walls. Not as pleased as I am, said a loud, low voice. Minnow grabbed my arm. It talks, she whispered. I was too excited to answer her. You are most welcome, said the voice. Thank you, Time Game, said Minnow. Yes, said Sky, thank you. You can call me Bawiam, said the voice. Bawiam, I repeated. Great name. It's a very good name, said Bawiam. Blizzard will tell you all about its origins later, but for now, let us just use the name. I like being called Bawiam. It's a lot more friendly than being called the Time Game. The voice sounded so kind. It could have been male or female or something else. It made me feel as though someone was pouring warm, salted caramel and chocolate sauce into my heart. Blizzard and Orpheus smiled at us. It's an honour to be invited to address the Time Game by a Gur preferred name, said Blizzard. Gur? Asked Ben. Gee's the same as me, said Goad. No single gender for Bawiam. Sky nodded. Thank you, she said. I've never really loved being a girl. People seem to have such weird ideas about what girls should do and what they should be. It's good at Marescimar, added Minnow, but where we come from, some people think that girls are inferior. We view all creatures as equal and all gender variations as being the same, said Bawiam's voice. That is as it should be. Goad nodded before adding, in some places we've been to with Captain Stella, we've seen boys treated poorly and girls in charge of everything. Power seems to be a dangerous thing. Goliv looked sad. We've seen a lot of sad things in our travels, she said, especially where the time virus has taken hold. There was a long silence. I think the Time Game wanted us to know how much work we had ahead of us. Finally, Bawiam spoke. Now, he said, I'll ask Orpheus and Blizzard to lead you in your very first lesson, and then you must return to Marescimar for your important meeting. We all looked at Orpheus and Blizzard, but they didn't say a word. They seemed to be waiting for something. After a few moments, Bawiam said some more. I do hope you enjoy the New Year's feast when it arrives. We'll be welcoming in the new millennium. I'm very excited about it. 1,000 years is a good amount of time. We all nodded. Will you be coming to the feast? Asked Ben. Blizzard will explain, said Bawiam. And now I must return to what I was doing. Have a lovely afternoon.